We move from Central America's Pacific coast to its Atlantic seaboard. Confrontations and conflicts over land here are notoriously rather more complex than the question of how or where to resettle poor farmers who happen to live along the path of the Jaguar. There are 45 indigenous groups in the region. The most populous of them live in protected areas with the highest levels of biodiversity. The brains behind Mesoamerican Biological Corridor insist that the needs of those with ancestral claims to this land should remain at the heart of the corridor concept. The trouble is, some indigenous groups see the whole idea as a threat to traditional land rights. Others resist transnational efforts to dictate how natural resources like forests be managed.
Nos tienen totalmente olvidados porque es por ser indígenas.
We are completely ignored because we are indigenous people. They treat us as being stupid, ignorant and hopeless. We cannot use a computer because if we use one then we are not indigenous people. That's ridiculous. They also say that we are unable to administrate money, which is also false. We have proved that we can do it. We have administered our forests and looked after them for years. Why shouldn't we be able to administer anything?
For us to talk about the biological corridor is confusing. Our people do not understand what it is all about. What do they want with that biological corridor? They presented it to us in a fancy way, but to us it does not help at all.
Governments talk about land and say they will give us titles to it. They understand land as a piece of soil to plant crops, or a piece of soil to bury us when we die. For us, that is not the concept we have of land, which is much wider and deeper. We talk about flora, fauna, natural resources, air, water, soil, subsoil. Our government is talking of a law to distribute communal territories, and they think they will solve the problem with this, but that is not true. We want entitlement to our land.
This is Kuna, the land of the Kuna, governed exclusively by indigenous people. Most live in small fishing communities on the San Blas archipelago, a chain of 370 coral atolls which run along the exquisite Atlantic coast like a string of pearls. We touch down on one of the 40 inhabited islands. The Kuna are widely considered a model example of a people who've asserted political influence to protect their lands and their culture. They're also considered an essential link in the corridor plan, which supports them in their efforts to reverse the trend of losing their traditional lifestyles. The Kuna want to see ecotourism take off here.
Our own experience has taught us that traditional tourism has degraded our spiritual world. So what we want to do is to present an alternative to recover all that we have lost. With ecotourism, we're trying to be more creative, more dynamic, to feed the tourist brains, to make them understand our indigenous world.
I think the people behind the biological corridor should talk to our Kuna people. They know where those sacred places are, and encourage the new generations to protect them. If the idea is of conservation and unification, that is a positive idea. We, the Kuna people, when we want to build a house or a hotel, we take the material from nature, but in a rational way, without affecting Mother Nature. The problem will be if there are more inhabitants for whom we have to build more hotels and more houses, then this may damage the natural ecosystems.